What's up, Titans Nation? It is a new day, wild card weekend, January 11th. So you know what that means. Time for not only primetime predictions, however, we're doing playoff predictions too. So, you'll be seeing my Super Bowl pick, my Super Bowl upsets, my playoff upsets, and all of that stuff. So let's just start it off with the mediocre Houston Texans taking on the average LA Chargers. Now, the Chargers are a part of the AFC West, the most fraudulent division in the NFL. They have the Denver Broncos, who do not deserve to be in the playoffs. Then we have the LA Chargers, who are an 11-6 team. However, they really be like a 9-8 team at heart. And then we have the Kansas City Frauds, who would actually statistically be 5-12 if every single one-score win that they had was reversed. And fun fact, all of the Chiefs' one-score wins were against teams like the Panthers, Raiders, etc. Anyways, I'll just start this off. You can see it. Chargers and Texans. Yes, I have the LA Chargers winning. If the Texans were in any other division besides the AFC South, easily the worst division in the NFL, they would be like a 7-10 team, maybe even 6-11. I'm not gonna say like I'm a huge believer of the Chargers. No, I think the Chargers are like a decent team. However, they are not that team. Their roster talent can hold them back, and we've seen some games where they get exposed. So with all of that, give me the LA Chargers beating the Houston Texans. $17-7. As by the way, guys, I just want to say before we keep going that I am 10-8 on my primetime predictions at Vikings and Lions. That cost me 2 points. Sam Darnold just turned into a fraud, and yep, that kind of stinks. My goal is to get like a nice record, and honestly, I've kind of struggled a bit, so I need to get back on track. So, on to the next game. Oh, here we go. Saturday night game. On primetime, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens. This isn't even gonna be close. Sure, we know how much Lamar Jackson struggles against the Steelers. However, last time when he played the Steelers at home, he was able to hold up. The Steelers are frauds. They're abysmal. Literally. The Chiefs have played teams such as the Browns, Raiders twice, the Panthers, the Saints. However, out of all those games, statistically, the Chiefs game with the most point differential was against the Steelers, and they won. Like how are the Steelers have just fallen off? Like they were good, and the thing is, the real thing is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has been struggling these past few games, and Justin Fields isn't still getting his start. Like, I understand in that trade, when the Steelers traded for Justin Fields, I think there's a deal in there that depending on the usage with Justin Fields, the 4th round pick could turn into a 3rd round pick, so the Steelers have benched Justin Fields, but still, this is a playoff time. This isn't time for any joking around. This is time to actually go all in. And I feel like Justin Fields can just bring a spark into that Steelers offense that Russell Wilson simply can't do. Anyways, the Steelers offense has fallen off. I mean, maybe if Mike Tomlin would start Justin Fields, we wouldn't be having that issue with the Pittsburgh Steelers. However, yeah, this should be a Ravens blowout. Give me Baltimore 38-10, just dominating, running over the Steelers as the Steelers end their season with the worst season they've had in years. Statistically, not the worst. I mean, 10-7. However, the way they finished out their season, yeah, that is the worst. Next up, Broncos and Bills. Give me the Bills. The Broncos just didn't really have business being in the playoffs. Should have been the Bengals. It's just when the Chiefs rest their starters, it's not really a game. The Broncos have a shot. If their defense can shut down Josh Allen, then they will easily win this game. However, at the same time, the defense is the strongest part of their team. So if Josh Allen can torch their defense, then it will be much more sided to Buffalo. And I'm going to have to go with the Bills. If Josh Allen doesn't play good in this game, though, Broncos can win. It depends. If Josh Allen doesn't play good, their team doesn't play good. If they play against an offense that can, if they play against a good offense, then that team will outscore Josh Allen no matter how much points Josh Allen can score. And that proof, for example, a game that we saw against the Rams. What? Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to do that. That accidentally happened. It keeps happening. Sorry about that. I guess I might have just accidentally hit something. Anyway, so, yeah, give me Buffalo. I was about the Rams game. The Rams have a really scary offense with Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, and Matthew Stafford. Also having Sean McVay and all the Rams offensive coaches, just a coaching team with the Rams. It's a scary offense to go against. As I was able to outscore Buffalo so much, it didn't even matter what Josh Allen did. However, give me Buffalo able to win this one 24-20, as actually 24-17, as the Bills advance to the divisional round. Next up, Green Bay Packers, Philadelphia Eagles. The Packers have kind of been starting to fall off. I'm starting to see that. They can win against they can blow out bad teams. And when it comes to decent teams, they can even beat them too. However, when it comes against great teams, then that's where they get exposed. Like, they haven't really been a great team all this year. And Philadelphia is a team that has already beaten them on week 1 in Brazil. And the Eagles are just simply a better team. This isn't going to be the playoff collapsing Dallas Cowboys team that the Packers faced last year in the wild card weekend for this the second seed they are playing. No, this is the Eagles team, a team that is much, much better than that. 14-3, best roster in the NFL, a major Super Bowl contender. Yeah, there's a difference when it comes to the playoffs. So give me the Eagles ending the Packers season. About 2 weeks ago, I literally had Green Bay in the Super Bowl. Crazy just how fast predictions can turn, like, later in the season. Anyways, Philadelphia wins 27-17. However, what I was going to say is, what's been going on with Josh Allen? I mean, not Josh Allen, sorry. I'm thinking of the wrong J name. Jari Alexander. I mean, he's barely played all season. He's been, like, injured and everything. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's playing this weekend still. I mean, Jalen Hurts is playing this weekend for the Eagles. I mean, at this point, it's not really going to do anything. The Eagles are, hot take, the Eagles are just about as good with any other quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a system quarterback. He's fraudulent. Excuse me, I'm very sorry. System quarterback, fraudulent, bottom 10 QB in the league. And that's the thing that could have the Packers beating the Eagles. Jordan Love outplaying Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has all the weapons. However, he's still able to somehow manage to be so average. Anyways, Eagles win. Let's move on to the next game. Now we have Commanders and Buccaneers. This is where things can start to get controversial. I'm going with the Buccaneers here, as you can see. The Buccaneers are a dark horse pick to win the Super Bowl. Like, it seems like it's really came all together for the Bucs. Mike Evans is back. They've been dominating teams. Baker Mayfield still playing at an MVP level. I mean, for example, look at this game. Yeah, they absolutely dominated the 11-6 Chargers. And against a young Commanders team that doesn't really have any experience in the playoffs, I'm taking Tampa Bay all the way. Buccaneers pull out the upset against the Commanders 28-27 as they advance on to the divisional round against the Philadelphia Eagles. I think Baker Mayfield will be able to outplay Jaden Daniels. The thing is, though, Marshawn Lattimore has been traded to the Commanders, as we all know, on the trade deadline. So, Mike Evans versus Marshawn Lattimore. We all know what happens when Mike Evans goes against Marshawn Lattimore. It's like Superman and Kryptonite. Like, it's just Mike Evans can go up against any cornerback in the league, and he'll still manage to stay consistent. However, whenever it goes to Marshawn Lattimore, it's just game over. So we're going to have to see that. However, this is a completely different team. So I feel like it can play out a bit different in this game. Anyways, though, it still stands 28-27. Buccaneers pull out the upset. Well, they're favored. However, the Commanders have the better record. Even though the Buccaneers are the higher seed and they are favored. Kind of like a 50-50. However, I am going with the Buccaneers. They are going to make a deep run into the playoffs. Now, Vikings and Rams. Give me the LA Rams. This game's playing at Phoenix, Arizona, because all the forest fires and stuff. I hope LA makes it out alive. I hope that people in LA can make it out, alive and safe. Anyways, in honor of LA, I have the LA Rams beating the Minnesota Vikings 24. Actually, I feel like I've been saying that a lot. 20-10. We saw what happened against the Vikings, that Minnesota can have those games where Sam Darnold can kind of just remember the fact that he's Sam Darnold. And the Rams already beat the Vikings once at SoFi. They can do it again. Well, it's not going to be at SoFi, however, it's technically going to be a home game, so yeah. It's going to be really strange seeing the Rams play at home in a card game, in a wild card game, except they're not even at their home stadium. They're at a rival stadium. Anyway, so I can see Jared Verse having himself a nice game. The Vikings could get past the Rams defense. The Rams defense isn't the best. Yeah, give me Minnesota's offense scoring 20 points. They can still run the ball too. So Rams win 30-20. As they advance, and now we're on to the divisional round. Now, Chargers and Chiefs. Chargers have dealt with the Chiefs getting away with these games that they shouldn't have won against the Chargers for 2 times since they played them 2 times this year. One, it was kind of like the Chargers just collapsing in the second half. And the other was off a double doink field goal that was made this time by Kansas City. I don't think the Chargers are going to take that anymore. They're done playing that game where the Chiefs are able to beat them in the end. They are not doing that. Surely they can't choke against the Chiefs a 3rd time in a row this season, right? right? Give me LA getting the W here. I mean, they have to. They can't choke again. Give me Chargers 20 to 16 Chiefs. LA wins, moves on to the AFC conference. If they were playing in the NFC, though, they probably would have got first round because the NFC is just a whole lot more of a legit, better division than the AFC. Next up, Ravens and Bills. I'm taking the Ravens. The Bills can play good with Josh Allen. However, once Josh Allen collapses, they collapse. And the Ravens have a strong defense, and they're able to shut out Josh Allen and James Cook's Bills offense to 10 points. And they have an offense that can outscore the Bills no matter how much Josh Allen does. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman has been doing good. Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely in a good offensive line. You're not like in the Bills defense that's been really bad this year. Doesn't really have any roster talent. Going against that Ravens team, yeah. I mean, that Ravens offense, yeah. This is going to be another 30-plus game for Baltimore. Maybe even a 40-plus game. The Bills can do their best, however, at the end, the Ravens are pulling out the win. Give me Baltimore, 38-28. Ravens win. They move on to the AFC Championship. Now, to the NFC Conference in the divisional round, we have the LA Rams taking on the Detroit Lions at Ford Field. They played there last year for the wild card. They played there in week 1. And according to me, they'll be playing at Ford Field again in the last 2 years for the divisional round this time in the playoffs. Now, the Rams have made it far, beating the Minnesota Vikings. However, I don't see them getting past the Detroit Lions, a 1 seed, after being able to rest up their injured players and get their team back on track. I see the Rams offense scoring a lot of points. However, their offense is going to get overshadowed by the Lions offense, which scores even more points. It's going to be a good game. However, eventually, Detroit's going to pull out the win in a 35-30 win at home. Lions advance to the NFC Championship once again in hopes to make the Super Bowl for the first time in their franchise history. Now for the divisional round, on the other side of the NFC, we have the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. Fun fact out of the last, if they really do play each other, in my predictions, then for the past 3 out of the 4 years they would have played in the playoffs. Because I remember the Buccaneers demolished the Eagles in 2021 and 2023. They did in the regular season in 2024. And if they do play them in the playoffs, then they would have demolished them in the playoffs. 3 years out of 4 seasons. Well, here's the thing. I guess I don't have them demolishing the Eagles. However, I'm still with the dark horse Buccaneers. Yes, I am taking Tampa Bay to beat Philadelphia. Yes, I am taking the 10-7 Buccaneers to beat the 14-3 Philadelphia Eagles, because the Buccaneers have kind of been the Eagles' weakness. Like, whenever the Eagles would face the Buccaneers, it's kind of always been a blowout. Like, out of this decade, can you recall a time that the Eagles beat the Buccaneers? No, whenever they played, which was actually a lot this decade, it was always the Buccaneers. And it's always been a blowout, too. I think it'll kind of just be like Baker Mayfield is a lot better than Jalen Hurts, and I think that's what can get the Buccaneers really going. And I feel like Nick Sirianni won't know what to do because he's never had a time like he hasn't had a lot of times in his coaching career where the Eagles have just had not really a lot to do when they were just getting blown out. So I'm having the Tampa Bay Buccaneers keeping it going, being able to beat the Philadelphia Eagles in a shootout. However, Buccaneers stay on top. They win 34-27 to advance to the NFC Conference to face the number 1 seed, Detroit Lions. However, first, let's go back to the AFC Championship. Ravens versus Chargers at NT&T Bank Stadium. Isn't that what the Ravens Stadium is called? Yeah, I've been there before. Yeah, that's the name. Home field advantage, well, it doesn't really factor in a lot. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is Baltimore should get a win. Probably like a 2-score win. The Ravens were able to beat the Chargers. This was in Week 12 when the Ravens beat the Chargers. And that's when the Chargers were at their peak, and like the Ravens were not bad, however. They weren't really as gathered and as good as a team as they were now. And so the Ravens, I think, will win the Hard Bowl, getting out the W. $35-21 as the Ravens advance to the Super Bowl to face the winner of the NFC Championship game. Yep, that's right. Ravens won the AFC 35-21. I actually heard that if Lamar Jackson, I remember hearing about him saying that he'll change his number to 1 if he wins the Super Bowl. So will Lamar Jackson change his number to 1 if he does win the Super Bowl? Well, we'll see about it in a little bit after the NFC Championship. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, my dark horse team to make it to the Super Bowl. And my predictions have came all the way to the NFC Championship to take on the number 1 team, the number 1 seed, the Detroit Lions. Can the Tampa Bay Buccaneers really pull off the major upset? Can the 10-7 Buccaneers beat the 15-2 Lions and advance to the Super Bowl to play the Ravens? Well, here's the thing. No. The Lions have better coaching, better players, like a better roster even when they're injured. Lions just have that advantage. And some of their injured players will be back and ready to go. Detroit's going to be able to pull out the win. And advance to the Super Bowl. They'll play the Baltimore Ravens. Give me Detroit winning 41-31, as Aiden Hutchinson said that he would play for the Lions if they got into the Super Bowl, that he would probably be playing and ready to go to play. So maybe he will be playing in this game against Baltimore. Will it impact it? Well, we'll see what happens in the Super Bowl. Ravens versus Lions, Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Will it happen? Will it be cool if I get the Super Bowl prediction right? Probably not, however, it would be cool. Anyways, let's just get to the game. We have finally made it. Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Detroit Lions versus Baltimore Ravens. Let's get it. I'll give you a quarter-by-quarter analysis. First quarter, I feel like if Aiden Hutchinson does play, it's still going to be a hard time to get past the Ravens defense. Can have a mixture between running it with Henry, running it with Lamar, and throwing it with Lamar. Tons of options on that offense. It's stacked. It's going to be a tough time getting past the Ravens' star power, and with their coaching too. Ravens are going to be able to jump up to a 17-7 lead. Then by the second half, the Lions are going to keep it close. However, eventually, they're still going to be losing 20-17 by halftime. And start of the third quarter, Lions are going to start getting their passing games going, starting to get back in the game, and eventually it's going to be tied at 27. Then at the end, though, the Ravens are going to start scoring, and eventually I have Baltimore winning it 34-30, winning Super Bowl 59. The Lions team has been a bit fragile, so they could still get more injuries throughout the playoffs, and Aiden Hutchinson might not even be playing in that game. Also, you got to take in the fact that the Ravens have an all-around team to win the Super Bowl. They know how to run the ball. They know how to throw it. They have a good defense to keep them in games. And they also have really good coaching staff. So, yeah. This is what I think that the Ravens can win the Super Bowl. However, tell me who do you think can win the Super Bowl? Because I actually had Baltimore winning last year, and that didn't really go out too well. Anyway, so it was fun making my playoff predictions. I'll see you later. Tighten up, Titans Nation. Have a wonderful day. God bless you. And always remember that Jesus loves you.